Alright, today's match play video is one from about a month and a half ago between Joe, my wife, and Gary, my dad. So I'm not sure why I put Joe and Dad there instead of Joe and Gary, but that's what I put. And my dad's kind of played tennis on and off for a number of years, but only recently in the last few years gotten a bit more back into it, playing regularly. And Joe's about 2 years into her tennis life, so pretty interesting match here. Joe starts off on serve, and you'll be able to see right away that my dad has a pretty interesting playing style, quite common amongst older people that I've played against, where a lot more slicing is used and kind of quite flat hitting. And Joe is a bit more conventional, so to speak. But you can see here just my dad putting a lot of pressure, keeping Joe off balance with the slicing and the flat hitting. So neither side kind of getting the ball very deep. I think the balls, I remember it was some time ago, but I do remember the balls used in this first set I think weren't. They were a little bit flat, so you see here a lot of balls I think like being hit a bit late and inability to generate power. And if any of you guys have hit a relatively flat ball before, you know what that feeling is like. Good deep return. Nice deep shot. Oh, and Joe's starting to feel the ball a little bit better, it looks like. Hitting some good winners. Getting the ball deep. I was hitting with my mum on the side there, but off when I was editing this footage, what it did seem like when I was watching. Oh, there's Joe with the very aggressive net rush from behind. Actually had the ball exactly where she wanted, but just made the error there at the net. It is when Joe is basically trying to keep the ball deep, and that would limit my dad's ability to play offense, which is just kind of tennis 101. But for a lot of the match, she wasn't able to do that, and the ball, whenever it would go kind of mid-court, my dad could do had kind of a lot of weapons that could be quite difficult for Joe to deal with. Primarily kind of slicing and hitting flat fast balls with good angle, and in turn I think my dad's rally tolerance is not the best, so if Joe could get it into some good rallies, then generally I feel like she would have the edge there. That's the little battle going on. One thing that's great about Joe's game, as she's been developing it, is definitely not being afraid to rush the net and get to the net. You kind of see throughout the set that she does make some errors at the net, but I think the first step is getting there, and then the hand skills will come just as we keep playing and keep developing our game. That's where the unexpected short ball kind of pays off. My dad's not super young, and I reckon for someone his age, he's over 60. Definitely moves super well, very light on his feet. but in terms of split stepping and kind of positioning wise, singles, I would say it's kind of an area he could improve. As with most slightly older recreational players, he plays like at 90% doubles at his own club, so yeah, that's kind of why. The positioning sometimes chilling in no man's land, but it pays off when if your other opponent gives you a short ball. Great return, deep to the backhand, and that is a fantastic point by Joe. Got to the net off a great return. And so my dad's just varying the court right now, and Joe's not really punishing him by not hitting it deep, and there he's able to take advantage with the slice. I'm not, as I'm commentating, I'm kind of watching the match play more than the score, but while I was editing I did notice that I think there were one or two instances where the scoring was I think that they might have messed up the scoring a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. And I think it was usually after long rallies it was like, oh, what was that last score again? And so if there's some discrepancy between the score and the side they're serving on, that's why. It didn't happen very often, I think. Like I said, only once or twice. Oh, my dad. I didn't comment on it before, but I think my dad's just throwing out a couple of underhand serves. And very nice touch at the net before to finish it. So that one, my dad had a negative reaction, but I think it actually was in, which is interesting. Oh, and there Joe constructed the point kind of perfectly, just missed the ball there at the net. Very aggressive return positioning by my dad, which is kind of fair given Joe's serve has actually improved since this video, but you know, in a lot of mixed singles situations the female player has, you know, kind of a slower serve that the male player can attack. Yeah, that's too good. Nice deep shot. So those are the types of shots that will force a lot of errors from my dad, because he kind of just hangs out like a meter inside the baseline very often. So if you just hit any shot in the back of the court, it can kind of make him pick the ball up around his feet. Yeah, and that's a tough return, so tricky slicing. Yeah, Joe's moving her feet really well. Not really being taken off guard by the underhand serves, like getting up there and getting it to my dad's backhand side. So good point there. So some of these, that's just an unforced error. Again, just great deep return, forcing the error. So it's just kind of flip-flopping between nice deep returns and errors at, you know, hitting it into the net or too long. Good idea though. Just Joe didn't seem to be feeling the ball particularly well at this point in the match. all else too good though. So actually net points wise, she's lost a few but won a few. I think in general, I always say, and I apply it to myself as well, it's just like, you just got to keep going. Especially in these practice matches, just got to keep getting to the net and building up that kind of experience and comfortability, is that a word? Just being comfortable, you know, playing the point at the net. Yes, that's too good. So over here, I think it went from Joe ad to my dad's ad in 1 point. So they skipped the point. They skipped the juice point there, unfortunately. And Joe lost the point. Lost the game. Probably won a point early, but that's alright. Joe's in a bit of trouble here. Down love 30. Very nice running. Get up to that ball. Oh, this is an epic rally. Joe just couldn't do enough at the net. And again here, I think the scoring got... So it's 15-40, but I think it might have been made 30-40. Yeah, and yeah, so the scoring is a little bit funny here, but... I think it fixes itself in the end. So now juice, it's back on the right side. So I think they just kind of swapped the serving sides one time. So just nice neutral rally down the middle, and Joe's pushing my dad back. She has all the initiative there, making him run, but that's a great defensive shot by my dad. And just unforced error, trying to end the point with a slicey slice. Went for the lob. Success. Long or successful? Successful. Great lob there by Joe. And then my dad's approaching the net really well, and good hands to finish off the point. Oh, I mean, good idea. Had the offensive court positioning, went for it, just pulled it a bit wide. Yeah, so I think the actual score is 30-15, which is why I put that. It was already 30-15, and then now I think they played an extra point and it's 30-15. Well done, Joe. Great return. Oh, good point there. Good point. Neither side is kind of punishing short balls particularly well. Oh, but there's a very nice serve and volley there from my dad. Keeping it nice, deep neutral, and yep, to my dad's back inside. That's definitely the winning formula for Joe. And I think that caught the line. Too good. Oh man, that's a great serve +1 by my dad. So this is a really good game. It's going back and forth. Just wide. Oh, underarm serve makes a comeback, and it works. Oh, he went for 2 in a row. Wasted the first serve on that though, so let's see what happens with the second. Get it box it over safely. Good forehand there. Short ball. Joe manages to kind of neutralize it. Both doing a good job of kind of keeping it deep. That sounded like a shank, but worked out. Oh, but didn't do enough with it. And my dad finishes the set with that nice volley. This was a best of 3 match, so set 2 is coming up. Some very good points. I will say that they started off a bit rusty, and I do think in the next set there were less unforced errors from my memory. But stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.